So this is a test of the second V-8HD I received from B&H Photo as a replacement for the first one. The first one had a slight shutter or frame drop issue on channel input 3. And this is the replacement that I've upgraded the firmware on, and I'm almost wondering if the firmware update made the problem worse, because now I notice it a little bit very subtly on input 1, and I notice it on input 3 still, and I notice it on input 6, which I didn't notice that before with this unit. So I'm very leery to update the firmware on the first unit I received, because that one is actually working pretty good, except for a very slight shutter on input 3. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is channel input 1 with the interlaced video, and maybe it'll jerk a little bit as I pan the camera. Yeah, there's a shutter. See the shutters in there? So that's what it does on input 1. Now I'm going to switch it to input 2. So here we're at input 2. And input 2, as far as I can tell, works fine with the interlaced 1080i. I'm not seeing any shuttering of the video. Now I'll go to the problem child, which is input 3. And 3 and 6 work about the same. So here we're on input 3, interlaced video, and you notice it's really jumping all over the place. Okay? Now, interestingly enough, if I leave it on input 3, and I'm going to inject a scaler before the input to uptick this to 1080p, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now you can see that we're coming in at 1080p progressive, and this is input 3, and now it appears to be pretty normal without the shuttering. So that's where I'm at on this particular device. Input 1 is affected mildly. Input 3 and input 6 are affected dramatically with the 1080i input, but the progressive input seems to be okay. So, so this box is definitely different than the first one, because the first one doesn't have that magnitude of a problem. It's just like that subtle shutter just on input 3. And like I said, the firmware upgrade didn't seem to do anything. It might have made it worse. I don't recall input 6 shuttering